Hey pals, Peeps here. Thanks for dropping in today. Hey, I got my Sportlots box. I was sitting at Sportlots for, I think, just over a year. And I finally got it shipped and had like, I don't know, 100 and some cards in there. And I thought I'd just talk it through. Perhaps there's somebody who isn't familiar with how Sportlots works. Although I'm sure many of you are aware, but anyway, I digress. I got my Sportlots box is what I'm trying to say here. And let's take a look, see what we got. I'm going to dig into a little bit of it and just show you kind of how things come when one orders a Sportlots box. What does that look like, you know? And also explain, you know, kind of what I use it for, I guess, is what I'm getting at here. First things first, I received a box. Let's put a lot of these were kind of in little bundles or team bags with labels on them, or it might be a card or two with its own mini receipt. As you can see there's a preview of some of the things we're going to see. Anyway, these bundles are coded. Here's a snap case full of cards from the same seller, CTTC Dork, who I am somewhat familiar with on Sportlots. CTTC Dork seems to have things that I am interested in, but anyway, these little bundles have their own codes and whatnot, and you know, it sort of amazes me the kind of the work that goes into some of these. Look at each of these little packets are thoroughly labeled with what seems like a 765-digit code.
It's his 1986 baseball card.
Congratulations to the people that bought that one, especially the people who bought it in quantity.
Where were we, for crying out loud? Oh, right. I just made dinner, and now I'm back. After the commercial break, of course. And we're talking about Sportlots here. For me, Sportlots is a great place to check on, especially if you're trying to build a specific, you know, curated run or mini set or insert set, or binder fuel, or things of that nature, and that's exactly what I use it for. And then, of course, as you're browsing around, you might run into the oddity here and there, which has certainly happened to me. This was I ran across this on Sportlots Oddball. Jung-Hoo Lee happens to be on my fantasy baseball team, and this week I happen to be facing off with none other than Shoebox Legends, and we are tied to top the division at 8-5. The 1999 Bowman Chrome Throwback. Love this one. Here's the back. I just thought this was super cool. It reminded me of that set back in 1999. And it reminded me of a card that is in the collection, oddly enough, in an old school CSG holder. This is my 99 Bowman Chrome International Adrian Beltre refractor. Now, I got this for a song probably, this was years ago. This was probably 5-6 years ago now, because everybody hated the CSG holder, the green. It never bothered me, and look at the shine and the etching on this beauty. I was on a bit of an Adrian Beltre run, whatever you might call it, probably because he was maybe one of the more significant rookies I had when I sort of stopped collecting in 1997. And so I had a bunch of Beltre from 97, a few of which graded out really nicely, one of which I turned into something much bigger. But I'm really getting off the rails here. But look at that shine, my goodness. Okay, so that is part of the reason. Oh, there goes Luke. Anyway, so there it is, a little context for the Jung-Hoo Lee. I was super pleased to grab that one. Threw it in one touch, but you know, as I was saying, you get these kind of bundles, and I took some of them out of their envelopes. Of course, you get these envelopes, as I mentioned, and I just thought we'd quickly go through the Sportlots Box. All right, so a lot of what you're going to see is binder fuel for my wild binder. I've had this going for maybe 6 or 7 years. A few years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I put it into this cheap green, sort of Z-Folio-like binder. Let's check out what we got here. Crying out loud. Right off the top. Oh, I see we've got some baseball too. Right off the top though, we've got a Nicholas Backstrom exclusives. And this is going to be from 2011-2012 Upper Deck. I noticed on Sportlots some of these lesser known. Now Backstrom, of course, is maybe the greatest wild goaltender of all time. It's a great shot of Backstrom, but I'm sure this was only a couple of bucks, honestly. So, and numbered to 100 exclusives, of course, goes back coming up on 30 years. So thought that would be great for the binder. The Backstrom exclusives. Oh, all right, we're going to switch gears here and go to a 95 Pinnacle Frank Thomas. I had a copy of this from childhood, and it was super banged up, but I always loved the image of Big Frank, the Big Hurt, just stepping into the stadium. Some early Photoshop magic there. Always loved this one, so I figured, hey, let's grab a copy. I'm sure this was, you know, all of 25 cents or something. And okay, I picked up, I think when I was opening, I was opening 2025 Series 1 during spring training. I was really enjoying the 1990 35 years Topps insert set, and I focused specifically on the retired stars. So I think there's a handful here: Jackie, Vlad Guerrero, Roberto Clemente, and it looks like there's some Mike Piazza. There we go. I think that's going to fit right into my retired stars binder, so that's nice. A couple more retired stars. We got a Stadium Club. This is 2024 Stadium Club. Campy refractor. That's a nice one there. Again, these are all probably $1 or less. And then the Josh Gibson refractor was sitting there, cheap. There was one of them on Sportlots, and I snapped it up. I think this was like $1.50 or $1.25. Just love that one for the retired stars binder. And here we go. I grabbed this very cheap. This is the Golden Moments 2001 Topps Golden Moments Gold, and this is Reggie Jackson, of course, commemorating the the 3 home run game on 3 consecutive pitches, which was insanity in that World Series where he was deemed Mr. October. Now, of course, this gold version is numbered to 2001. I don't know if you can see that there, but it's stamped up there. There it is. And it's got that 2001 gold border, 2001 being the first year of serial numbered Topps Gold. I have picked up quite a few of these. I love them. Big moments on cardboard. All right, what else do we have? We have, look at that, crispy. That top loader has seen some wear, seen some days, seen some things. And it is heavily taped as well. This is heavily, wow, am I gonna get this out of here? I think this is a Topps Heritage Hockey from the early 2000s. Oh man. Well, you're gonna have to take my word for it. This is Matt Johnson from the Minnesota Wild. It's going into that binder there. It's very exciting. As you can see, it's a great image. All right, we got another 35 years Topps, and this is the Ted Williams. So I'm building maybe 2 pages full of the retired stars in this specific insert set. This is kind of what I was talking about. This is going to be a big stack from one particular seller, and probably a bunch of OPG retro. This is all for the Wild binder, I'm certain of it. Mikko Koivu, all-time leading points getter for the Wild. Another Koivu on the retro. Gabrick on the Parky. Another Gabrick. It's probably going to be a lot of Gabrick and Koivu. Nicholas Backstrom, look at that shot. That's a beauty. Another Gabrick there. Koivu on the OPG Platinum Refractor. So anyway, you can see this is binder fuel for my Wild binder. Oh, I remember running across a bunch of these Fleer gold medallions, which are really awesome, and were not that easy to pull because they ran the length of the set. It wasn't that easy to get your player. So anyway, Gabrick here. Got a Manny Fernandez. How do you like that? Another Gabrick. We've got a Bouchard. Another Bouchard. Another Gabrick. Koivu. Another gold medallion of Koivu. How about Brent Burns and the Ultra Gold medallion? That is awesome. Brent Burns, Hall of Famer, I'd say. Koivu on the OPG, retro there, Bouchard again, Brent Burns again. Oh, I love these retros. Check these out. These are sick. Cal Clutterbuck, Bouchard, Koivu. So a lot of my, most of them are sort of like my favorite players from the Wild of the time. These are the, I think, 2010-11 OPG retros. It's again Koivu, Backstrom, Clutterbuck. We've got, I believe that, is this OPG Heritage? I can't remember what they were doing at this point. This is 2012-13. Maybe these are the retros in 2012-13. Koivu again. Here's a couple more, Parise and Koivu on the retro. So a bunch of OPG retro. And I was going to open these, but this video is already getting long. Maybe I'll save some of these and we'll revisit the Sportlots box. Thanks for coming by, everybody. We'll see you next time.